In 1945, the world celebrated the end of the greatest war in human history, but another war was already beginning, one with no front lines, no formal declarations, and no clear enemy marching across borders. It was a silent conflict, fought in the shadows. This is how the Cold War truly began. After World War II, the world expected peace, but peace never came. Not really. Two superpowers emerged from the ruins. The United States, the Soviet Union, both victorious, both powerful, both convinced that their vision for humanity was the correct one. Neither trusted the other. The Cold War did not begin with a battle. It began with suspicion. In Washington and Moscow, advisors warned that the alliance formed during World War II was nothing more than a temporary arrangement. Both nations viewed each other not as partners, but as potential threats to the future shape of the world. In 1946, Winston Churchill delivered a speech that echoed across continents. This phrase crystallized a reality many feared. Europe was splitting in two. To the west, democracy and capitalism. To the east, communism and Soviet influence. But beyond ideology, something deeper was happening. Both sides believed the other was preparing for global domination. American analysts warned of Soviet expansion. Soviet generals insisted the West was encircling them. Fear fed fear. In 1945, the United States became the first and only nation to possess the atomic bomb. This single fact shaped the early Cold War more than any political speech or treaty. For the first time in history, a single weapon could destroy an entire city in seconds. The balance of power had changed forever. The Soviets saw the bomb not as a deterrent, but as a threat. Their leaders believed the United States could use this weapon to force the Soviet Union into political submission. And so began one of the most secretive projects in human history, the Soviet atomic program. By 1949, the USSR shocked the world. They had their own bomb. If the Cold War had a physical heart, it was the city of Berlin, a ruined city inside a defeated Germany, itself split between East and West. Four powers controlled Berlin, but only two visions for the world clashed there. In 1948, the Soviets attempted to cut off the Western-controlled sectors completely. No food, no fuel, no access by land. The first great confrontation of the Cold War was not fought with tanks, but with aircraft. The United States and its allies launched the largest humanitarian airlift ever attempted. For nearly a year, planes delivered supplies to millions. It was a symbolic moment. The West would not retreat and the Soviet Union would not give in. Berlin became the stage where the Cold War moved from theory into reality. By the early 1950s, two alliances crystallized. NATO, led by the United States, the Warsaw Pact, led by the Soviet Union lines were drawn. Borders hardened, armies mobilized. The world was dividing into two global camps, each believing the other threatened its survival. A Cold War had become inevitable, not because either side wanted it, but because both believed they could not risk losing. This was not a war of battles, it was a war of influence, fear, and strategy. The Cold War earned its name because the two superpowers never fought directly, but the conflict shaped every continent: economic pressure, ideological propaganda, intelligence operations, covert missions, proxy wars that would erupt later. Yet, in these early years, one theme dominated. The world lived under the shadow of a weapon that could end civilization. Humanity had created the means of its own destruction, and now lived within seconds of losing everything. The Cold War began not with violence, but with fear. Fear of domination, fear of ideological collapse, fear of nuclear annihilation. But in the shadows of this fear, a new kind of warfare was born, one fought by spies, secrets, and silent missions. In Episode 2,